Wanting to gain a stronger presence in the ever-popular minivan market that Chrysler introduced with the K-car-based minivans of the 1980s, Ford was wanting to enter a more serious contender into the market with their only offering the truck-based Aerostar van. With backlash from dealers and customers, the Windstar didn't fully replace the Aerostar until around 1997. Sitting on the DN5 platform, the Windstar was introduced in 1994 for the 1995 model year, with the first generation running until 1998. The Windstar, unlike the Aerostar, is a unibody front-wheel drive vehicle and was heavily developed by women-led engineers and designers who considered family use and family-friendly design features. In 1998, there would be a mid-cycle refresh and several changes, including the addition of the Family Access System. This was included to help align the vehicle with the Chrysler minivans, who introduced a surprising driver's-side sliding door. And unable to make mold changes for this close to a redesign, Ford decided to lengthen the driver's side door by 6 inches and added a tip-and-slide driver's seat for easy access to the second-row seat. This Windstar was produced at the Oakville Assembly Plant in Oakville, Ontario, Canada, in December of 1996. In today's review, we are taking a look at this very nicely preserved 1998 Ford Windstar GL, which represents the mid-cycle refresh for the van. Our Windstar is painted in deep violet metallic clear coat with graphite cloth interior. Full pricing is shown on screen and with a full options list in the description box below. The mid-cycle refresh comes standard with updated exterior designs and more squared-off grille and headlamps, as well as a long driver door, which, while 6 inches longer than the front passenger door, only opens 1 inch wider. More on that later. All Windstars are front-wheel drive with the power coming from an optional 3.8-liter 232 cubic inch overhead valve pushrod 2-valve V6 engine. This engine is part of the Essex engine family and is of cast iron block and aluminum head construction with split port cylinder heads, sequential multi-port fuel injection, and a 9.3-to-1 compression ratio. The engine creates 200 horsepower at 5,000 RPM, 225 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM. The Windstar can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 10.9 seconds with 0 to 80 miles per hour in 20 seconds. Quarter mile was reached in 18 seconds at 76 miles per hour with its top speed limited to 108 miles per hour. The 3.8 equipped vans come equipped with a 25 US gallon fuel tank and consume 5.6 gallons per 100 miles driven with an estimated total driving range of around 450 miles. EPA fuel economy figures are 60 miles per gallon city, 22 miles per gallon highway, with 18 miles per gallon combined. The sole available transmission on this vehicle is an electronically controlled 4-speed AX4S automatic with overdrive. The transmissions are built at the Van Dyke Transmission Plant in Sterling Heights, Michigan. Rear suspension is twist beam axle with variable rate coil springs and hydraulic shock absorbers. And believe it or not, the Windstar can tow. Not much, mind you, but nonetheless, it has that capability. The Windstar has a gross vehicle weight rating of 5,100 pounds with a curb weight of around 3,840 pounds. Payload capacity is 1,200 pounds with a towing capacity of 2,000 pounds. Around the rear, the Windstar looks pretty much like every other minivan from this time frame. Tall and wide with a huge opening rear hatch and a low bumper, which aided in low liftover height for loading luggage. Slight design changes were made in 1998, including relocating the Ford oval to the center of the license plate plinth and moving the trim badge to the previous location of the aforementioned oval. The name badge gained a new cursive typeface and ditched the stylized star flourish at the end of the name. Taillights are full incandescent set in a single plastic housing divided into 3 sections, upper red for tail and brake lights, middle amber for turn indicators, and lower white for the reverse lamps. Along the profile, the long and low Windstar was highly praised for its aerodynamic shape with low front hood, which looked good, but hindered the ability to determine the front quarters of the vehicle. The Windstar was only available in one wheelbase, 120.7 inches, with an overall length of 201.2 inches. Steering is hydraulically assisted rack and pinion with 2.96 turns lock-to-lock and a 40.3-foot turning radius. Wheels are 15 by 5.5 inch black painted stamped steel with silver painted full sport wheel covers. The tires are P205 70R15 Goodyear Assurance tires front and rear. Brakes are vacuum-assisted front disc rear drums with 10.9-inch ventilated rotors up front and single-piston calipers with 10-inch rear drums. They are assisted by ABS and can halt the Windstar from 70 miles per hour to 0 in 195 feet. Front suspension is McPherson struts with lower lateral and semi-trailing links, anti-roll bars, coil springs, and tube shocks. Up front, the most obvious changes to the sheet metal are present with squared-off clear lens headlamps, trapezoidal grille opening helping to fall in line with the current Ford family, and the hood is low-mounted with a large windscreen glass area, offering excellent forward visibility. The low hood, while aerodynamic, did hinder the driver from knowing the corners of the van while driving. Headlamps are simple 9007 series halogen headlamps with amber turn indicators, and while not on this van, fog lamps were available and would be mounted lower in the intake ports directly under the headlights. Lower opening aided in airflow management and cooling. Alright, and before we get inside, and it is a very nice interior as you will see, quick look at the key. No keyless remote entry here. It was an option on these vans, depending on how you trimmed out your van. This vehicle just doesn't have it. It just has Ford's double-sided bladed key. And of course, unlocking and unlocking is very easy just by twisting the key in either direction. To the front of the van locks it, to the back unlocks it. And let's go ahead and take a look inside. Extra wide driver's side door opening, also known as a king door, reveals a very nicely preserved and intact interior. Very roomy, very airy, very comfortable. Large flowing door panels. Got this nice perforated dark vinyl accent here. And then of course over here you do have the black accents with the black molded door handles, power mirror controls, power window switches. These are for the third row vent windows and lock and unlock. Of course you have a nice large padded armrest, some hard touch plastics down here, premium stereo system, and a mat pocket, and some carpeting down here. And take a look at the driver's side instrument panel. You have your headlamp control here. You do have the optional tilt steering wheel, and sadly just two pedals indicating that it is an automatic vehicle. Hood release is right here, and then your fuel pump reset is in that little hole there. And taking a look down here, molded entry panels feature the Windstar script. And then taking a look at the seats. Seat adjustment here for the seat back recline. And of course manual seat adjust here for this is your fore and aft. And you'll see the extra long tracks. This right here actually operates the second row entry, which we'll demonstrate here in just a few moments. And taking a look at the seats. Seats are actually very, very comfortable, sculpted high back bucket seats with integrated head restraints and armrest. Wrapped in this really nice graphite cloth. They're very supportive, very comfortable. Alrighty, pan through the interior and show more details. Just a sculpted neoprene steering wheel. It's a 4-spoke design, very minimalistic, no leather wrapping here. Does have the airbag cover. The only controls here are your cruise control, so you have on and off, resume, set, accelerate, and coast. And then down here you do have your multifunction control, so it indicates your turn signals, your high beams, your flash to pass, and your wiper washer controls. Alright, taking a look at the instrument panel here. Clean and concise, very easy to read. You have a 7,000 RPM tach, 120 mile per hour speedometer with your parental display, and at the time of this recording, this vehicle has 90,871 miles. And over to the far right, you have your fuel gauge and your temperature gauge, and of course, an assorted row of warning lights. Alright, moving over the top of this swooping dash, very Mark 8-esque. This is a nice soft padded vinyl dash. It does swoop around, very aero styled. And taking a look up here, this right here would be an additional warning light module. Then of course you have your two air vents here pointed to the driver and passenger. Nice flat area here. And then moving down the driver angled center stack, you have your instrument panel dimmer rheostat switch here. You've also got your AM/FM cassette player here, and your cigar lighter and 12-volt power point, and this Windstar has never been smoked in. And moving down, you do have simple to use climate controls, your fan speed, temperature control here, and your panel distribution and AC controls. And of interesting note, the Windstar logo here and the Ford logo here also light up with panel lighting. Rear wiper washer controls, rear window defroster, and these two blank switches here. Opening this area up reveals the cup holders. It is also illuminated, has an ash receiver here. This side of the cup holder I wouldn't trust because the finger here is gone. And moving down even further, you have some stacked storage. Now, being a minivan, it has a load flat floor here, or just a flat floor. Optional would be a center console, which has storage and integrated cup holders and the like. Really interesting here is this floor-mounted handbrake. Overall, the interior of the Windstar is actually a very nice place to be. It's very comfortable. It could be very quiet, very smooth riding. Just overall, just a very nice vehicle. Overhead, we just have a simple manually dimming rearview mirror, padded sun visors with non-illuminated vanity mirrors. The sun visors do swing out, but they do not slide out. And of course you have overhead assist handles. They are not dampened. And high adjustable seat belts on the front row and the second row. Alright, and a fun fact, remember I was talking about the king door? Well, this is the point of it. Due to the fact that Ford actually did not have time to retool the Windstar during the mid-cycle refresh to compete with the Dodge Grand Caravan, which featured a driver's side sliding door, Ford came up with this idea. Lengthen the driver's side door a little bit more than the passenger side, create a much wider opening, and put in this rear seat access. So, lifting up on this unlocks the seat back, and the seat back, or the entire seat, will move on this track, which enables very easy access to the second row seats. And as you can see here, this actually just has the two bench seats, no captain chairs in this vehicle. But what a handy feature here is a really good problem-solving issue for until they can retool for the next model year to have dual sliding doors. And then you can just put your seat back, and it would actually remember where it was set. Alright, and of course this vehicle does have 3 rows of seats, so let's take a look at all 3 rows. We'll just go through the sliding door this time. Sliding door is nice and wide opening. You do have the seat belt kind of in the way, but you can lift the seat back forward here on this, which would gain access to your third row seats. And the third row seats can actually adjust fore and aft. Here we have 2 headrests for the outboard seats, and of course 3-point seat belts. Middle seat only gets a lap belt. Seats set up a little bit higher here. It has theater seating. As you can see, the second row seat belts are high adjustable. You do have stereo speakers, storage compartments, and cup holders back here as well. Here's your adjust lever in the floor. And we'll take a look at the second row seat now. Still a bench seat as you saw before. You've also got the same 2 high adjustable head restraints. The second row seat only seats 2 across. Now this van is not equipped with it, but it could be had as an option. You can have rear climate controls back here. You can also have a rear audio interface with 2 headphone jacks. You also have a volume control and seek and scan. You have a little perforated pad here. You have a small storage compartment here with a 12-volt power point, cup holder, and a storage tray, and a mat pocket here. Other than that, the interior of the Windstar is actually very simple. All right, let's take a look at the rear luggage area here. No fancy power opening, foot activated, smart approach lift gates here. It's just an old school lift up the hatch on 2 hydraulic struts. But as you can see, it's better than nothing. And pretty decent luggage space back here, even though it is a minivan with a 3rd row seat. But as you can see, it's a nice low flat floor. You do have some intrusion from the seat rails and stuff like that. But other than that, it's not too terribly bad. You do have some tie-down hooks. This right here actually folds up and it rolls out to here to stop your luggage from falling out. Now on this side, inside this little panel, there's nothing more than your jack and tool storage. And then over here, you just have a nice deep storage bin. And you can lock and unlock the vehicle from here. Spare tire is carried underneath the vehicle, so underneath this trim plate is actually the spare tire winch, and you use the jack handle to lower the spare tire. Closing the lift gate is easy, just grabbing the grab strap here, and that's it. Alrighty, and that does pretty much conclude our in-depth walk-around review and look at the 1998 Ford Windstar. We hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/neighborhoodcarreviews and Instagram at BrensoJ1. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.